Hey, everybody. Welcome to Two Guys and a Mic, our special Thursday night edition here in Cleveland after the Browns and the Bengals game. I'm one of your hosts, Ron Pierce. Call me
And this
RP.
and this your other host, Big Sean. What's going on, everybody?
Man, listen, this is Celebration Thursday because, as we know, 3-4 short days ago, I actually thought we might go 0-16 again. and, and here we are, at least happy that the team looked like a team, that the team, pulled out a win, and they looked like they can compete on an NFL level. So I'm
Right.
pretty happy. What about you, homie?
Yeah, man, I'm definitely happy. Anytime we get a win, I'm good. I'm definitely happy at the way we won. Because usually, like the past couple of years,
Agreed.
we don't, we struggle against teams. Like we'll pull out a win, but it wasn't pretty. So the fact that we actually move the football consistently, got some issues on defense, but we moved the ball consistently. The offense knew they had to go out and put up points, and they did it. So I'm good. I'm gonna go to bed happy tonight.
I think I unequivocally agree with what you're saying right now, because it did simply come down to doing the small things. Like I said last week, or Sunday rather, I didn't expect us to win that game per se. However, I did expect us to compete differently. Like I wanted to see, the lack of penalties, and then I wanted to see the third down conversions. Even if we don't win the game, I mean, the Ravens are a better team than us. So, okay.
Right.
But it looked like the same old Browns all over again. And I know we got down early,
Right.
and that probably messed up the parts of the game plan. But to watch us 3-4 short days later, not a lot of penalties. We didn't see a bunch of turnovers. We did see some, but we didn't see a bunch of turnovers. And the team looked like they were all on at least in the same book, if not on the same page.
Right. Exactly. So there were 4 or 5 key points that I wrote down before the game, and I want to give a shout out to our crack staff for compiling this list for me. So, the first thing I wanted to see, was Stefanski going to adjust? Because last week it was a lot of passing. I understand the situation, but I wanted to see, was he going to continue with that game plan he had last week, or was he going to, adjust and focus the offense to our strengths, which I think he did. Secondly, was run the football. We ran the ball, down their throats pretty much all game, got a good mix of Chubb and Hunt. I like how towards the end of the game, you gave Chubb a breather, and Hunt went ahead and closed the game out. I love that.
This guy. You're not killing him. He ain't got to carry it 600 times.
Right.
You got somebody
third thing,
do the same thing. Yeah, I like that.
Right. The third thing I wanted to see was Baker's confidence. He hasn't been played with confidence since 2018. And today, for whatever reason, he came out with that swag. I mean, the ball was coming out of his hands like a dart today. That's what I wanted to see. He definitely had his confidence back. He was the leader of the team, and that's what I wanted to see out of Baker. And then finally, I wanted to see if Myles Garrett was going to be dominant. And now on that point, he wasn't. He had one big play, but he's not being the disruptive force. How much are we paying him? Like $1,600 million or whatever. He got a $125 million contract. He's not like, when I think of disruptive players, I don't think of just flashing, making a play every now and then. I think of like the Aaron Donalds.
Yeah, they're problems every play.
The Warren Sapps back in the day. Guys like that, they're always in the quarterback's face doing something. It's not about getting a sack, but it's about disrupting the
It's
play.
being an
And
issue. It's being an issue.
right, and Miles has just been, very quiet this year, these first 2 games, and that's a little bit concerning. I need him to get that motor going, and I need him to make more of an impact, especially when you've got pretty much like 10 bums playing behind you. Well, I won't say 10. I like the Denzel Ward is cool, but like the other 9 is
They
off. Well, you know what?
questionable.
Claiborne played well. Adrian Claiborne looks like he's legit. He got hurt.
He got hurt.
Okunjobi looks good. The linebackers are trash.
Listen, I almost don't know who the hell those dudes are.
We don't know who they are.
Taki is about it, and then listen. When the only name that you know is Sayoni Taki,
Right, that's a problem.
that's
Because the only people who know who Taki is are the people in Cleveland, Ohio. No one,
and
no
his
one
family.
else.
Look, and
Right.
his family.
His family. No
That's
one
it.
else knows who's
Ain't nobody.
Taki
Look,
is.
ain't nobody other than Sayoni Taki and his family have a 44 jersey. That's it. That's it.
Exactly.
Only them cats.
And so that's an issue. And when we start playing these upper echelon offenses, Baker, Odell, Jarvis, y'all gonna put some points up. Maybe as we roll along, get that running game more established, you can, run the clock, have more of a grounded out type offense, and keep that defense off the field.
So tell me this though. So did you predict a Browns win today?
No, I thought we were going to find a way to lose this game because we were playing with zero confidence. Yeah. And I like Joe Burrow. I like Joe Burrow's confidence. And I'm like, Cincinnati might find a way to come in here and get the win
for no reason. And I say no reason,
exactly.
meaning, dude, you're a rookie. You don't come. He didn't come in here like nervous about being in the NFL. He came in like, yeah, I could play.
Right.
And I respect that. I actually he's probably the first Bengals quarterback that I would actually say, kind of like I said about Ben, where I'm like, all right, yeah, he could be a problem.
Yeah, I respected Boomer Esiason back in the day.
I didn't respect Boomer. I hated him.
I hated Boomer Esiason. I hated everything about him.
I didn't have,
but he was good.
I'm gonna be honest with you. When I thought he was good, I'll be honest with you, was when he went to the Jets, because he had a really good season that first year he left and went to the Jets, and I was like, okay, I was like, damn, maybe he wasn't as awful as I just thought Boomer sucked, and a lot of that,
he wasn't, man.
That was a lot of my blind frustration with the Bengals and stuff.
Right, because Boomer used to light us up back then, man. Him and
that's what I mean. Like,
James Brooks. He would give Woods and those guys. They was a problem.
He wouldn't do that to everybody else, though. He only did it to us, which is why, again, my frustrations were what they were. But
I got you.
But so for me, your crack staff and my staff is just on crack. Who put my shit together? I said on the show that I did earlier in the week that what some of my issues coming out of the Sunday game, going into this game, they had to do certain things a certain kind of way. You hit on a lot of the things that I hit on. You had a lot of the same concerns and a lot of the same things that you thought were going to be the resolution. If you did these things right, we could be better. So, of course, I wanted to run more because I couldn't understand how you only run 20 times, but Baker threw 35 times. Of course, I understand we were behind, so you got to throw a little bit more. But listen, we're not going to win a lot of games with Baker Mayfield throwing 35 times. Okay?
No.
We're not.
Not right now.
Not right now. Now, we may grow into a spot where that can happen. But at this particular moment, Baker Mayfield can only throw about 20, at the most, maybe 28 times. Everything else has to be Chubb and Hunt. The only thing that pissed me off last week was that Chubb was averaging 6 yards a carry, and these guys just went away from it.
Exactly. I think they panicked.
I think
they panicked.
And I think they did too.
It was just his first game. You had no preseason. Baltimore jumped out on us early, and I think Stefanski knew, like, look, we're not going to be able to stop Lamar Jackson.
We're in trouble.
Not at all. Right? We can't do nothing with him. And
that defense,
he just kind of abandoned the run game.
So it was the run game. I like we got to run heavy, and if we're not going to throw, I know the league ain't quite what it used to be back in the day, so we don't throw a lot of screen passes to the running backs and all that stuff. Not a lot. But I kept saying short, quick passes, something Hooper needs to get more involved. Hell, you got Njoku on the bench. We need to get these guys involved in 5-yard, 7-yard routes where they can just get down, boom, and now it's 2nd and 3, as opposed to, 2nd and 10 or 2nd and 11 and 2nd and 12 type of situation.
And it's funny
to throw more. And I just
it's funny you say that.
Go ahead.
No, I'm just saying there was a caller on the radio earlier today. I think it was on the Bull and the Fox show, and he was saying kind of what you're saying. And he was like, not only do we need to get Baker comfortable in the rhythm, you need to get Stefanski comfortable as a play caller.
Yep.
And I think, you saw him get into a rhythm, and he was calling, with the rollouts, the play actions, and everything like that. I mean, he called a great game today.
You put Baker in a comfortable setting. He felt comfortable. So we were both looking for the confidence out of him today. A lot of his confidence is going to come from what he feels is being called, what his strengths are. I watched some film the other day where Baker is just bouncing out of empty, like good pockets. Ain't no pressure. He just starts rolling out.
Yeah.
Because that's what to him, this is what's supposed to happen.
Yep. And there were 2 plays.
In bad spots. So if I kept saying, like, today he has to stay in the pocket, and then they also have to do some rollouts. But I think, like you said, adding the rollouts, which made him comfortable, made him sit in the pocket a little bit more too, because these ain't the plays where the rollouts happen. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
So I was looking for that, but I was also looking for something from Stefanski, what his game plan was, what his situational calls are going to be. So, you and I have been watching football since we were probably way too young to be knowing a lot about football. So we have ideas and thoughts about football that other people are like, what the hell are y'all even talking about? But situational football, just like situational baseball, just like situational basketball, it exists. So situational football it's 4th and 2, and you're at the 40-yard line. That's a long-ass field goal, homie, especially for somebody like Cody Parkey.
Yeah, exactly.
And you got a momentum going. So do you go for it, or do you let Cody Parkey, Hugh Jackson, come out here and boot the shit out of this ball 3 times to the left every single time? He done already missed twice. You gonna send him out there again? Oh my gosh! Like, you killing your spot.
Please don't mention Hugh Jackson again.
I'm just, hey man, I got to bring it up because that particular day, I actually had that come up in my Facebook memories. That was the day that I said, man, I've been supporting Hugh Jackson all this time. That dude stinks, man. He stinks. Like, that was awful. Situational football is a part of being a coach. Or how do you coach when you had a game plan and these dudes just blew your whole game plan out of the water?
Right.
Like you said, how do you adjust? How do you think on the fly? What do you come up with after that? But you have to build the confidence in your players to make them think that, okay, what I'm getting ready to come up with now is going to work. You know what I mean?
Right.
So
you're showing confidence in your players. Like, even when he went forward on that 4th down, a couple of my boys were texting me. It was like, we should have went for the field goal. I didn't mind them going for 4th and goal.
I didn't mind them going for it either.
I like the call. I like the call
because
I didn't think Cincinnati's going to be able to move the ball back down the field. And that's when Miles Garrett caused the fumble, got the ball back, and went ahead and punched
right at the 1-yard line. Now, I said the defense was an issue last week. some of the things that I wrote down today about the offense, I was really, really impressed with how quick the plays were. Because again, that was a part of the game plan I thought we needed. Quick plays, kind of quick reads, real quick looks. They ran a lot of pick plays to get first downs. The one catch by
Right.
Jarvis. I mean, that was the work. Listen, if they
And
would have
that's one
started,
thing we never did.
no, hell no, we ain't never did no pick
We
plays.
never used to run that. Now Pittsburgh would run pick plays against us to death and
Listen,
never get called for it. It'd be offensive, all kind of offensive pass
Hines Ward.
interference.
I've seen Hines Ward put both hands out and push people
Right,
against us, and they don't even get
right,
to, like, no flag is being called. So it
right.
looked good to watch them have the quick plays out. Baker looked energized. Baker looked involved. I saw the one-on-one football plays that I wanted to see because I keep saying, everybody's like, oh, Odell suck. Odell suck. No, you know why Odell sucks? Because they can't get him the ball, number one. But number two, you're not putting him in what he does best. One-on-one is what he does
Exactly,
best.
exactly.
Put him in
And
space.
really, he would have had 2 touchdowns, but the refs had to cheat.
He would have had
The refs, the
yep.
refs sit there and talk and had a powwow. You know what? We ain't cheated against the Browns all game. We got to go ahead and get our couple of bad calls. I mean, that dude pulled his jersey. So, I mean, how did he not see? The referee was standing right
had
there.
the stretch on the jersey, dog.
Right.
The full stretch on the jersey, my G.
And the ref was right there, and he didn't call it. That was a touchdown. Easy.
It was obvious. And it's those types of things for our listeners. As Browns fans, we believe that not just the universe, but possibly even the Lord Jesus Christ himself might be against the Browns.
Exactly.
We haven't proven it yet. However, we do have at least 30 to 40 years worth of our own history.
Right.
That kind of supports that there are so many forces working against us.
Now, there was one more call, too. Now, I've been watching football since I was 5. I mean, it's 41 years. When did intentional grounding become a spot foul? Has that always been the case? I thought it was a 10-yard penalty and a loss of down.
It's a spot foul. It is. It's the loss of down and where the penalty occurred from.
All right, because all I know is that we was like on the 30.
Yeah,
they called intentional grounding, and we was back on the 11. And I'm like, man, what happened?
See, I'm like, what is going on? Here's what people didn't see, and I saw this. People didn't see. It was supposed to be a screenplay. Nick Chubb was coming out, and he, like, one of the defenders, one of the linemen, just kind of grabbed him. Dude, that's at least holding. You can't grab the receiver because it was supposed to be a screen, which is why I kept saying, like, I know we don't run a lot of screens, but at least we ran a couple screens today. And that was one of them. It just looked like shit. And Baker threw towards the line of scrimmage like he was supposed to. And I said it when he threw it, and I looked at where the numbers, where he threw it at, and the numbers of the players, I said, they're going to call fucking intentional grounding.
If they don't call it on Tom Brady. I've seen Tom Brady throw the ball 18 rows up in the stands.
Listen, I've seen that dude throw it straight into
and they
the
don't
ground.
call nothing.
Like, boom, just throw it straight into the ground. But there was a guy right there, and they just let that shit ride.
Right.
They let the shit ride. But you know, we the lowly Cleveland Browns, man. But you know, I was interested in looking at a whole bunch of stuff today, and everything that I was looking for today, I was actually impressed with. I was looking for players' body language. I was looking for players' engagement with each other. You know, they keep trying to create this rift between Baker and OBJ, which I don't think exists. I do think that OBJ is upset. And ain't nothing wrong. Listen, if you are the best scorer or the best at whatever it is that you do, you always gonna be, and you want to win, you always gonna be upset.
All right, America. I don't want to do this, but I got to point this out. I'm gonna play the race card just for right now. It just seems like anytime a black player shows emotion on the sidelines, he's being disruptive. He's a cancer in the locker room.
Yeah, prima donna.
Or whatever. He's a
We
prima
all
donna. When
we
a
all
white player like Tom Brady, Brett Favre, Breeze, Phillip Rivers is a classic one. Phillip Rivers will cuss. Well, I know he doesn't curse, but he will chew his teammates out.
listen,
And
Philip
know
Rivers.
it, but he's passionate and he wants to win according to the media. So when I look at OBJ, I just look at a guy. I don't think he's disruptive. He just wants to win. Like all his teammates have nothing but good things to say
And
about him.
that's
Is he a little over dramatic and a little deep? You know, he has some diva in him. Yes, he does. He's a very emotional guy, but so was Jarvis. But because Jarvis doesn't have the same rep, Jarvis doesn't get as much criticism.
Yep.
When it comes to that.
Because I'll tell you what, you're right. Like, if you go back and look at, bad players or players that catch that rep, they was all over Rodman. They was killing Rodman for a long time. But guess what? They was all over Mahorn. They was all over Lane Beer. But guess what? That was an entire team full of niggas that will hurt you.
Right.
John Sally would throw an elbow if he needed to, too. You know what I mean? So,
exactly.
Like you say, Jarvis will listen, you want to talk about a dude that when he gets pissed off, OBJ wears his on his sleeve. Jarvis is one of them cats that blows up. So, but he still gets after cats and he wants to win too. But he came in here, OBJ came in to Cleveland with this extra shit. So people give him the extra shit. Like, I'm watching the game the other day and I'm seeing guys online like, oh, he's a crybaby, and oh, he's this, oh, he's that. I said, man, the dude is still on the field. The dude is still playing.
Exactly.
He's still out there trying to get the rock like we want him to, right? But are you watching your quarterback? This dude is all over the place at that particular time. He was all over the place. He wasn't spot on.
I mean, night and day between last week and this week. The ball was coming out of his hand.
Oh, no. It was night and day. Like today was I felt when I believed that he wasn't the guy back a couple years ago when he got drafted and he came in and played a couple games. Remember that Thursday night game against the Jets?
Yeah, I was there, man. I was there. It was electric at the stadium.
I was like, wow. This dude might have proved me wrong. Like I felt tonight, like I felt that day. And I know it's just one game and I don't want to get too far ahead of myself because I didn't get too far. I guess I did because I thought we was going to go over 16. but, I do realize it was one game. I did pick them to win today. Again, anybody who watched my show, I said the Browns were going to win. I know maybe I'm a homer, but I thought we were going to win. But I thought we were going to win like 20-17. That was the number.
Okay.
I ain't think 35-30. God dang.
That's kind of what I had in that range. It's like, in my mind, I was like, if we do win, it's going to be something that we barely pull out. Be a sloppy game.
And that's what I was expecting. That's what I was expecting. Just a little bit of slop. Not a bad game, but just one of those games where you're like, come on, man, just damn it, catch that ball or throw that the right way or whatever. And those types of plays would have kept us from maybe scoring 35 points. But today, I can't be mad. Even Troy Aikman was like, the Browns should run off some more clock, but you can't be mad when Chubb is getting 26 yards and then comes in and he gets 32 yards. He's like, what you gonna do? so you got Chubb getting 26 and you got Hunt getting 33. Right. So now you're down inside the 12. Whose fault is that?
Exactly.
That ain't nobody's fault. Like you take that. Like if you threw a 5-yard out to a dude and you're just trying to get the first down and it turns into a 70-yard touchdown, I'll take it.
Right.
I'll take it. But overall, I saw some great stuff from our guys. I saw some stuff that I wasn't happy about, like the defense, and I'll chime in on that thought that you had about Miles. because there's some plays that Miles made or didn't make that won't go on a stat sheet. But I did see that guy in that backfield. I saw him put a couple hits on that cat.
He
So
did.
those things eventually matter too. And I
And
tell you something else. They moved him around. He was inside, he was outside. I saw him doing stunts, but I also saw him breathing super heavily. They did just play a game on Sunday. He
right.
got a quick turnaround. I think he's not 100%, and he's not 100% in terms of conditioning. I don't think he's 100% conditioned.
And well, they might have to move him around a little bit more because what I did notice when he was lined up on the left side, they were triple teaming him.
Yep.
So he was getting blocked by the tackle, the
Yep.
tight end, and then the running back was coming up chipping him.
They were chipping the shit out of him.
I did see that. So in his defense, I get it. So basically, we need somebody else on the other end to step up. Now, Claiborne was doing that until he got hurt. So I hope that he's not seriously injured. He's going to be back soon.
I hope he's not, and I also hope that Olivier ain't that seriously injured that he could come back too, because that's
it don't matter
what they brought him here for.
It don't matter if Olivier hurt or not. He's done. It don't matter if he hurt or not. That dude ain't getting no pressure. I think he's done. And they had the nerve to get him an extension on his contract, which I wouldn't have done because he ain't doing anything to earn that, man. It was somebody else that they could have brought in, unless they see something I don't see. I can't say
that I do. I can't say that I do. My thoughts are, I know what he came. I know why they went after him. I know why they said, "Oh yeah, Olivier Vernon," because he did a good job in New York.
In Miami, he was solid,
and he was good in Miami. But I don't know that he's done anything here.
He hasn't
to write home about.
He hasn't been on the field. He's played like just a handful of games. He's been injured, so I'm not impressed with him at all. So that's definitely a focus of the draft. I hate talking about the draft. It's so early talking about the draft, but defensive studs.
But
we need playmakers.
There you go.
Defense. That should be the focus of drafting and free agency.
When everything else works, like when your quarterback is good enough, when your running backs are good enough, when your offensive line is good enough, when your wide receivers are good enough, now you can start plugging holes in other spots on your squad. The problem we've had for, 6,000 years is that we've never been sold or those positions have never even been proven that guys can do them. So we got to get another one. So we got to get another quarterback. So we got to get another running back. So now we got another guard, or you know what I mean? We drafted this guy and he sucks. So now we got to get somebody else to come in and do what we thought that guy was going to do. So now it's almost like you're wasting draft picks. So hopefully, we can get to a spot where, and I think watching today's game, I hope that the rest of the game plans are real simple like this and just very focused on what we need to do. And then that proves that we don't have
they're going to adjust. Defenses will adjust. So you have to adjust with the defensive adjustments. But I wanted to give the offensive line a shout out because we had, 3 guys out? Or was it 2 guys? Conklin was out.
2 guys.
Did Treader play?
Because, he played and he was hurt. But remember, because they were concerned that he might not play at all this week. But he ended up playing. And he played the whole game.
So we had Hubbard out there. Hubbard was a replacement.
Yep.
And Teller replaced somebody. I can't remember who replaced. So the fact that those guys, I know Cincinnati had injuries on their defensive line too, so they weren't at full strength, but our offensive line held up well where Baker wasn't running for his life. Last week against Baltimore, Baker was so shook. He was throwing the ball, getting rid of the ball too quickly. When we had protection, he saw the blitz coming. We picked up the blitz, but he assumed that the pressure was coming, and he was getting rid of the ball too early. And this week, I think he was a lot more comfortable
But I
You know,
also
he
think
trusted his line
that
a lot more.
they called a game plan that made him comfortable. And those are things that, and you're right. I know that other teams, better defensive teams are going to do stuff to kind of squelch our fire, the fire that we have right
Right,
now. Chubb might get 6 yards this time, but now they all pinched in, and now Chubb didn't get that 6 yards. He got two. Now it's second and long. And now you're like, okay, well, do we run it now? Okay, now we gotta trust him. And the last time I threw, these guys was on my ass. So that's the thing. Like once he gets happy feet, he's bailing. He don't give a damn about your pocket. He don't give a damn
right,
how comfortable the pocket is. So the thing that I give Stefanski credit for is allowing him to roll out, allowing him to do a little bit of that design wise, and it just made him more comfortable just standing in the pocket on those 10 or 12 or 13 plays where he needed to stand in the pocket. And I just
right,
hope that as we continue to go forward, that they keep building that rapport where he can say to him, like, babe, I need you to stand in this pocket. Or I need you to roll, whatever that is, I hope that they continue to build that in between situation between the coach and I mean, hell, if you make Case Keenum look like he belongs in the NFL, bro, you are a goddamn witch because Case Keenum is not that great.
right.
You know what I mean? And
No,
Kirk Cousins is a marginal quarterback. He's not great. He's not awful. He's just marginal.
yeah, he does a marginal. He's uh he's Dave Craig. Remember Dave Craig back in the day
He's Dave
with
Craig. He's Dave
Seattle? You know,
Craig.
he's that type of guy. He's gonna put up numbers. He can get you to the playoff, but you're not gonna win a Super Bowl with him.
But Dave Craig ain't finna get you past the first round. He might get you to the
Right,
wild card, but you're not winning that game, bro. Not with Dave Craig, you ain't. And you knew you weren't.
right.
You know? He's Jeff Hostetler, a guy that could put up a whole bunch of numbers. And Jeff
Well, but
Hostetler,
House did win.
Hostetler didn't
House
win
got a
that
ring.
Super Bowl. He ain't win that Super Bowl.
He's at the
Hostetler,
helm.
Hostetler ain't win that Super
He
Bowl.
was at the helm. He
He
was
ain't win
O.J.
that Super Bowl.
Anderson.
O.J.
He
Anderson.
was at the helm.
First of all, O.J. Anderson was 67 years old. He ran for 3,000.
Man, he was giving uppercuts. He was hitting dudes under the chin. But
He had no gloves. He had no pads. He ran without a helmet.
right.
That dude was incredible. But all right, so listen, man. I know you're gonna say go to hell. You're gonna say that. I know it. It's coming. So let's talk about the Bengals for a second.
Okay.
Okay,
Your audio is a little off. Adjust your audio because I'm not sure if it's my phone or if it's yours, but it's a little off.
can you hear me?
No, I can barely hear you.
Oh, barely. Okay. It might be because of how I got it sitting on this thing. What about now? Can you hear me?
I mean, I can hear you, but it's not as clear as it was. But go ahead, man. Go ahead.
So dig it. Um, I have to say I underestimated who Joe Burrow actually was.
Okay.
That kid is actually, like I said it earlier, that kid is a good quarterback. Like he's a tough. He's one of those guys that ain't going away. Like you all the way down 35. He gonna keep playing like he's up 35.
Right.
He's gonna keep making plays. However, can I say this? If they don't get an offensive line for that guy, he ain't gonna make it through this season.
No, he's not.
You can't, and he's a rookie. There's no way that this guy should be throwing 61 times.
No.
He threw 61 times tonight. It ain't many teams that's gonna win with their quarterback throwing that much. Man. These ain't the Joe
Right.
Montana and Marino days where the guy just, just throws and throws and throws and throws and throws. This ain't the same. This ain't the same
Yeah,
game.
shoot, Montana didn't even throw that much because they were so efficient back then. But you're absolutely right. No, he would not survive with that, with the way they currently constructed. But they know what they need to do. I'm sure that they'll draft well. It seems like Mike Brown and kind of stepped back out the way a little bit and kind of letting his staff actually.
I hate that because I hate the Bengals, but that's good if you're a Bengals fan.
Right.
That this dude has chosen to get the hell out the way because Mike Brown sucks balls as well as Cox.
Yeah, he's one of the worst owners in the league. So who do we have coming up next week? Washington.
The Washington football team.
Man, that's the most ridiculous situation in the history of sport. It's just flat out ridiculous. For one thing, they got them out there looking like Bethune-Cookman with them generic uniforms running around.
Now, I'll tell you what, I do like the numbers on the helmets. I do dig that. But you're right. When you said that last week, I was dying because I was like, they do look like Bethune.
It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous how Dan Snyder handled that whole situation. All he had to do was say, "Hey," this is kind of how the Indians did. The Indians was like, "We're going to have a dialogue. We'll have a discussion, and then we'll see what happens next year." And I think if Snyder would have did that earlier, instead of being so arrogant as to say, "I'm not changing the name. I'm not doing nothing."
Yep.
He would be okay, and probably because I know how fickle Americans are, but come January they would have forgot all about it, and they would still be watching the Redskins, and nobody would have thought anything about it.
Bro, I'll be honest with you, the freaking Cleveland Indians figured this whole thing out. And while we still got people that are angry that we had Wahoo, and then there's people that's angry that we got rid of Wahoo, the Indians figured the shit out. They were like, listen, we're just going to phase it out slowly. And they did. They phased it out very, very slowly. One day, these dudes was playing in uniforms with a cursive C with a
block C.
Yeah,
right.
Exactly. You looking around like, wait, what the hell just happened? But they had the block C right here, but they still had the Chief Wahoo over here on the side.
Right.
So okay, and they got the block C here. So now you're more focused on this, and not so much this. Then
Chief Wahoo, right?
You had that little cursive I for a minute, and you had the little feather for a minute, but it wasn't no Wahoo. And then it was just all gone. Like, you didn't see Wahoo at all. I feel like they did it the right way. I don't care if people like getting rid of Wahoo, and I was a huge fan of Wahoo at the time. Back when I was younger, I had about 52 Indians hats.
It was one of the most popular logos in baseball,
and I think he still is, actually. Other than the Yankees and the Boston hats, the Cubs hats are close, but the Indians, the Chief Wahoo Indians hat, is still a classic hat. So, but I'm not against the Block C, and I'm not against Washington making the change. I just don't know that you want to go a whole season being called the football team.
You don't have a name at all. And whoever was the dude that patented 40 names is a genius. He patented 40 names with trademarks. 40 names.
But that's why.
That they would
that's
use.
Probably why they ain't picked the name yet, because they like, we ain't paying that. Because he gonna hide. Listen, he gonna hijack them niggas. He gonna hold y'all hostage over that name.
Right.
And it is what it is, because it's, we live in a world of capitalism. So I ain't mad at him for his
I ain't mad at
move.
it.
You got to do what you got
It's
to
just
do.
Washington was being like that. Dan Snyder was being an idiot about all. He could have handled that so much better.
Well,
And now they out there nameless.
Dan Snyder has been a jackass. I didn't know a lot about Dan Snyder, and what made me know, because I kept hearing that he wasn't a good person, but I don't, I don't know that dude. He ain't my owner. I don't care.
Right.
And then that stuff every year, because we do the same thing here in Cleveland. Baseball season starts up. What do we have every year that baseball season starts up? You get a protest every single year. Same thing was happening down there. And instead of even like inviting those folks in and talk to them and, just having a drink or two with them and talking, looking empathetic, this deal hole just decides, I don't give a shit about none of y'all, and we're never changing a name.
Right.
Who says that? Like, you ain't ever changing a name, my dude? I bet. What you
Because
doing
he
now?
was getting away with it for so long. Like the only issue I have with the whole thing with the Native American names is that they're selective outrage. Like the Chicago Blackhawks got the same basic logo that the Redskins got, a big old Native American with feathers and stuff on, and nobody talks about the Blackhawks at all. Now I know hockey is kind of it's not as popular
a
as
major
football,
sport, so it's not as
but
it is what it is.
still,
It is what it is. Yeah.
The Chiefs don't catch any heat at all.
Well, the Chiefs don't have a logo that suggests anything, any innuendo behind their logo. But we both know.
They got a
I know.
spear on
Listen,
the
and I
helmet.
know what you get ready to say. I knew you was getting ready.
A big old spear on the helmet. Everybody know what that means.
In Missouri, by the way.
Right.
I knew what you was getting ready to say before you said. I said, I know he goes. But listen, here's the thing. Here's my issue. If I have an issue with the names, because like I said, I didn't have a beef with Chief Wahoo. But I remember when I was in the Air Force, I was stationed in Anchorage, Alaska, and there are Native Alaskans up there. What we've all called Eskimos.
Right.
I move up there and you have Eskimos there. Well, guess what? You find out Eskimos don't like to be called Eskimos.
Right.
So they don't like it. And maybe there are some Eskimos that enjoy it and don't care. But there's enough of them that have said, I don't like that shit, homie. So just stop doing it. And I did. I was like, damn, I ain't never even think there was nothing wrong with that. But okay. They said in our briefing, they flat out said, calling an Eskimo equates to calling a black person the N-word. I was like, all right, well, that'll never happen again.
Right.
Like, I'll never say that because I don't want that situation.
Right.
But, people are weird. When you're prejudiced and racist at the same time, people are just weird. So,
yeah, and I understand, like if there is a team called the Pittsburgh Porch Monkeys, I wouldn't appreciate that. I wouldn't appreciate that at all. I knew you was gonna laugh. I'm trying to be serious.
Well, because first of all, I'd be upset because they're from Pittsburgh. Second of all, I'd be mad because they called the Porch Monkeys. That's how much I hate Pittsburgh, by the way.
Right. They call the Pittsburgh Porch Monkeys. I wouldn't appreciate that at all. But okay, so we got Washington coming in. They got a great defensive line.
They have awesome.
I don't know too much about them. I can name only like 3 players on that team. And only guys I can name on their team that went to Ohio State.
Haskins, of course.
Haskins, Chase Young, and McLaurin.
Well, Um,
That's it. I don't know anybody else on that team.
they have a solid coach. They got a solid game plan. They do the simple stuff, and they gonna play hard. Like that's who they've become with their new coach. I actually used the Redskins as when people were like, "Yo, well, the Browns didn't have a preseason, and they got a new coach, and they got new this and new that." So did the Redskins, and they won last week. Don't give me that. Like that's an excuse. But
Right.
what's their coach name? The dude that was down in Rivera,
Ron
Ron
Rivera.
Rivera. He's a tough coach. And I don't mean a tough coach to play for. He's a tough-minded guy. Like he wants y'all to play smash mouth. Like going to Washington was great for him because it was just like being in Carolina like 5 years ago when he went to the Super Bowl.
Right.
It's almost the same type of defense, almost the same type of team. All you need is a quarterback to just be marginal, and we could probably get there. So I think that they have a marginal offense. I love McLaren, not just because he's from Old State. That dude got talent. He's skilled. Haskins, NFL-wise, I still got my doubts about him, but we'll see. I hope he does well. Not against
Yeah, he
us, but
needs some more seasoning. I
huh?
think he has the tools. He just needs the coaching and the seasoning.
Yeah, for sure.
So he made plays last week when they needed it. So
And that's what I mean. Like I think he has the right coach. He has a mature coach. He don't have a coach that's scared of him. He don't have a coach that's scared of the
right,
moment. His
right,
coach is gonna look him squarely in the face and be like, "Yo, you can't do that. You can't say that. You can't play this way." And those are the things that you know Ron Rivera brings to your squad. Like you have to answer to him, which is why I think that they're you can see a complete difference in who they are right now versus
exactly.
who they were last year. Last year they were kind of a joke. Even though they played good down the stretch, nobody was really like worried about the Redskins.
I mean, nobody's checked for the Redskins in quite a while. It's been some years,
But
really
I
since
think,
RG3. Really,
yeah, that year with RG3, yep. But I think now you have a situation. So we know Haskins from Old State. They're gonna run the ball. They're gonna run, and Haskins can move himself. He'll get out of the pocket. He's not our traditional Ohio State type of quarterback who's very, very mobile.
no, he could actually
But
throw. He was the first Ohio State quarterback in years
well,
that was
Cardell
a
wasn't
pocket passer.
a runner. Cardell really wasn't a runner. He just would run.
Right.
Cardell was more of a passer. Like Cardell was way more of a passer. And then Herb tried to turn him into this, big, 270-pound dude that could just run cats over. But Haskins was that other guy that could just, like you said, he can just throw. This guy can just throw. He can just get that ball downfield. But I feel like Haskins makes bad decisions. So we got to get pressure on him.
Yeah, yeah. Like with any young quarterback, that's one of the beefs I had today against Burrow. I don't think we blitzed him enough. I thought we should have been bringing like exotic looks and coverages to confuse him a little bit. We blitzed some, and when we did blitz, we were successful at it. We disrupted them. But a lot of times, I think because all the injuries we've had on defense, they're playing more vanilla, trying just to keep everything underneath and not get beat deep. So, but I think anytime you play a young quarterback, I think you should just kind of just bring the farm at them and
I
see if
had
he can handle it.
one of my homeboys said the exact same thing. Like, that we don't, and by we I mean the Browns. Excuse me. We don't bring the heat against the young guys or against the guys that are second or third string guys. And I didn't address it. I didn't say anything about it because I didn't want to give up too much of my Facebook stuff as to what I
Right.
was going to say in my podcast, which is why you want to just keep tuning into the podcast because this is what we do. However, he was absolutely right. We don't always, just bring the heat. However, I think that, the defensive scheme needs to be to play back a little bit because you don't want to bring the house and we don't have our corners and safeties, or we're not even equipped. I don't even think at full strength as we discussed at linebacker. So
No.
you start blitzing and start over blitzing. Now you play yourself and leave yourself in some bad situations. I
That's
got a
true.
question for you though.
I agree.
And I have to ask this question now because it just hit me in the head. And if I don't, I'm gonna forget it, and I'll have no idea that I even thought about it. So we drafted this kid last year. I don't know that this guy has played more than 3 games, but he's always freaking hurt. Gritty Williams.
Yeah.
I mean, when he plays, I don't know that he does anything great, but he barely plays. Like, I'm at a point where I'm kind of like, why is this dude even on the squad anymore, man?
Well, yeah, I mean, but you've invested a lot in him because even though he was a second round pick, he was more technically like a first round pick. You don't want to give up on him too fast. Now, last year, I don't think he was hurt. I think that was when Freddie Kitchens was doing his like timeout with him and Denzel Ward. Because if you remember, him and Denzel Ward got pulled the hamstrings supposedly the same time in practice, and then they came back at the same time. I think that was more of a disciplinary situation and not him being
I actually remember you
hurt.
saying.
Yeah, because it was just weird. Like, how these cats get injured the same time and have the same amount of recovery and come back to this. I was like, he was giving them a timeout because he was having issues with a lot of players where he wasn't communicating well with them, like Higgins, some other guys,
Goku.
and yeah, right. So I think that was more of a case with that. So let's see how he comes back. So when he does now, if he doesn't perform up to stuff when he gets back, because he's known as not being physical, more of a finesse corner, although we need him to be physical. Let's see what he does when he comes back. And then I'll kind of, pass judgment then. I don't want to pass judgment too early on the kid, without seeing that much of him. So.
Well, you got to get on the field, though, bro. You got to get on the
True.
field.
Right.
We can't see anything, nor can you prove anything if you ain't on the field. Like, I need you on the field. So, my man, I don't know how many ice tubs they got in Berea, but I'm going to need you to sit your ass in an ice tub. I'm going to need you to chill out because I need to see you on the field. I agree. I don't want to get rid of him just because I don't know that he does well. We did spend whatever we spent on you. I would like to see the guy do well. You know me. I'm a Browns fan, so I'm always like, let's see. Hopefully, prayerfully, this guy's, even though I don't like the guy or don't think the guy is good, I rooted for every one of those quarterbacks on that back of that jersey, that long list, because I was hoping maybe one of these guys would be the guy. And I feel the same way with everybody who gets drafted or gets picked up. I hope that, you don't come here, Olivier Vernon, just to collect a free-ass check. I hope you came here to play hard all the time. But
I think those days are over. I think they showed that with that kicker, with Siebert, getting rid of him so fast. Like if you're not performing, like, you're out of here.
They should even brought that dude back from Baltimore. They should have made his ass walk back.
Right, exactly. Catch the Greyhound one. So
the Metro, what's it called? The Mega Bus. the mega bus.
Right,
Put his ass on the mega
man. But
bus.
I was thinking about this, and because people were so down on Baker, and rightfully so. But I was like, when I sat back and thought about it, it was completely ridiculous what's going on with the Browns. So Baker Mayfield, this is his third year, right?
Mm-hmm.
He's had 4 coaches and 4 offensive coordinators in 3 years. How do you have 4 coaches in 3 years? I was like, you can't name one quarterback that could have gone in the history of the NFL that's had that same situation and was successful.
Well, I
It's no
cannot
kind of, and
disagree.
that like that. When I really sat there and thought about that, I was like, that is ridiculous
I
for
can't
this
disagree.
organization to have 4 coaches in 3 years, and you can't expect your players to be consistent, but you don't have any consistency up top.
I can't disagree, and I've always said that organizational dysfunction is our bigger issue because you'll get a guy like uh uh the analytical guys to run the draft, and then we'll fire the analytical guys, but you got analytical players on the field, and you'll
Right,
hire a football guy. So now we gotta purge all those guys,
right,
and we're gonna bring in regular football players, right? And then you bring in another analytical guy behind that guy. It's
exactly.
it's like it's the dysfunction in the front office that has caused the dysfunction. Like I keep trying to tell people, they're like, oh, we don't have any consistency in the coaching. You ain't gonna have no consistency in the coaching because the people that hire the coach ain't there either.
Right,
So when a general manager hires the coach or the general manager gets hired after the coach, what are you doing? You gotta have some level of cohesion. And I feel like, honestly, we might have that right now. I feel like we might have the level of cohesion that we need. So that's good for Baker. Also, we got a guy who's helped marginal quarterbacks look decent. So now you got a quarterback with some talent. Maybe you can make a talented quarterback look really, really good.
right. And I'm at the point now, I don't care what the Browns record ends up being, we got to stick with Stefanski, period. And we go 4-12. We got to get some type of
You can't
semblance
get
of
rid of the
continuity. You
dude
got to
this
bring
year.
this guy back and let
You can't
him
get rid of
get
the
his
dude
program
this year.
established.
You can't get rid of the dude this year. You can't get rid of the dude next year. I think you got to let him ride. You may be
Right,
able to get rid of your defensive coordinator or something like that if things don't work. But I think the
right.
head coach should probably stick around. But what I saw today, I saw an adjustment in what I saw on Sunday, and that says something. Like that says something about who Stefanski might be, and hopefully it means that this guy's a guy that is at least forward thinking and wants to win football games, on the field. Because winning the
Right.
draft
And
don't
one
mean
thing
shit.
I see with him is right. I see him having a calm demeanor. He doesn't look panicked or over. Even last week when we were getting our ass kicked,
He
he
was
wasn't
still
looking
like
on the
this.
sideline like he was overwhelmed. Yeah, exactly. And that's what we need. But I would be remiss, just trying to change the subjects here, if I didn't mention the LA Clippers debacle. And the first thing I want to know is who named Paul George playoff P?
He did.
What big game
He
is he?
did.
What memorable game has he had in a playoff series to be
That's
called
playoff
playoff
Paul,
P?
man. That's playoff Paul, son. You ain't know?
That's pandemic P.
Listen, as I said on Facebook, apparently playoff P stands for probably not.
Right.
Because, my G, you didn't do shit this year, man. and he was more like pandemic P. Like, bro, you were awful, except for like one game. I think it was like that
Yeah.
4-6 game in the first round where they needed him to show up, and then they ended up finishing off, that round or whatever. But he ain't did nothing. He's been awful, and I'll be
I,
honest with you, and
I
like I said,
honestly think.
I talked about this. I told you, didn't I say? Well, I didn't say. I said on the show that I did by myself, so I didn't tell Sean. I actually just said it. I said Denver's gonna win that game. I said it. I said Denver gonna win that game
Okay.
because them dudes look
I didn't
tired.
think Denver was gonna win that game, though.
They look tired. I said that in the game 6. The Clippers look
You
exhausted.
know what? When I go back and look at the whole bubble situation, there were clearly players and teams that didn't want to be there. They were only there because they had to. First example of that was James Harden. James Harden, like Nick, I'm a big guy. I'm fat as hell. I have no right to call anybody fat and out of shape. But James Harden was fat as hell. When I saw him the first game in the bubble waddle out on the court, I was like, oh no, I was like, they ain't serious. They ain't about to do nothing.
Say Waddle.
That dude was bloated. You saw how bloated he was, man. He was just big. I was like, he ain't in no type of shape. And then Westbrook, I don't know if he been having some personal problems at home, but he was just out of control. Like, it's not typical Westbrook. That dude was airballing layups. I mean, he was just
he was awful. Like he was awful.
right.
He was really bad. Westbrook was
It was
really
like
bad.
I think because of how the setup was, a lot of guys didn't take the whole thing serious. So like the whole thing, even when the Clippers were playing the Trailblazers in that one game, and Dame missed the free throws, and Pat Beverly and Paul George over there clowning, and it just I was like, all right, Joe. I was like, okay, he missed the free throws, and I've seen guys clap or
But they
cheer, but the way that they were doing it was
they was
going
gonna
too
get
far.
put out of the bubble. They thought that he was gonna get put out of the bubble. That's why they was talking
Right.
shit. Because you remember last year
Right.
at Oklahoma City when Dame did the
Right.
so
Bye-bye.
that's when playoff P, playoff probably not was at OKC, and he did that on playoff.
Oh, that's
probably
right. That's right. Because he hit that over Paul George.
Yep, he sure
Right.
did.
Okay.
So now he missed these free throws, and they lose that game, and they had to. That's why they had to do that playoff.
Right. That
Against
playing
Brooklyn.
game.
They had to do that playing game with Brooklyn, and then Brooklyn ended up losing. But all the heat that them niggas could have gave, that Portland could have gave the Lakers, they kind of spun themselves trying to get into the playoffs.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's not a
because Dame was playing out his mind.
Yeah,
trying to get them,
like nigga,
in
he
there.
was scoring like 56 points a game. So he did a lot to get them into the playoffs, and then you run into the buzzsaw that can be LeBron when LeBron is really, really playing.
Right. Exactly. And really the key to that team was really just AD. When AD has it going, you can't do anything with him. LeBron is LeBron. LeBron gonna do what he do.
When that dude,
when you get AD
giving you 31 and 15, good luck. Good luck.
It was one stretch of one of those games, man, where Portland had it close, and then LA came and ran the same play 5 times in a row. Yeah. They ran the same play, a little pick and pop with AD catching the on the elbow and kept knocking down them.
Every
he hit
time,
like 5
every
jumpers,
time,
like
he
boom,
just
boom, boom, boom,
right
boom,
out. Bang. Let me go grab my charger, but keep talking.
All right. Yeah. So, and you also have to question, Doc Rivers right now. Doc Rivers gets a reputation of being this great coach, And you think about all the talent that he's coached since 2000, was it 2007 when he got the big three in Boston with Garnett, Paul Pierce, and Ray Allen. And he won that one championship with them. And that's it. He didn't win anything else with them. And he didn't win anything with the Clippers, even when they had Blake Griffin and all those boys. So now you really have to question Doc Rivers' coaching. Is he really a big-time coach? And right now, I'm going to have to say no.
So do you think that okay, I was just getting ready to say, so do you think that he's a big-time coach? Is that what you're saying? He's not?
No, I'm gonna have to say no. I think people respect Doc Rivers. I think he's a really good guy, a good person, and people kind of give him a pass because of that. Well, you look at his track record over the last, 12, 13 years, all that talent. You got one championship and really only, what, 2 finals appearances with those Boston. He had 2 with those Boston teams and none with the Clippers. So, I'm not. What's that?
Now, what he's done with the Clippers is different, though. Like, because being in Boston, to get that Boston team, that second Boston team that went to the finals, they should have never been there. I never thought they were. And then they went 7 games, and they lost to Kobe then. So we look at the numbers a lot, but we got to look at the facts. So you played, and your team played way above their heads, and he got them to the finals. Now, according to all of LeBron fans, I'd rather lose in the finals than lose in the first round. So he did at least get them to the finals, right?
Yeah, he did.
Now, the problem that I got with him, if I have a problem with him, is that the Clippers can't get past Game 7 of the Western Conference semifinals. They
Right.
can't.
Exactly.
And that's
even when they
crazy
had Chris Paul and Blake Griffin, DeAndre Jordan, Jamal Crawford, that team was kind of loaded. And they couldn't get out the second round.
And they should have been past the second round. Actually, let's be real. Before Doc Rivers ever got there, they could have been past the second round because they've had some good players in the past. That Ron Harper team that was out there, that I think his second year, I think got off his Achilles once he tore his Achilles.
Oh, you talking about when they had that was Larry Brown.
Yeah,
got them.
That's when they had
like Ron Harper and Pooh Richardson
and all them cats.
Yeah.
They was decent out there, bro, and you know that they was decent out there. But I know, sometimes we forget because we ain't really thinking about it that way. But to me, Doc Rivers is a good coach because if you want to, if he's actually a great coach, and here's why I say he's a great coach. He got a championship. So tell me somebody who's better than him. Nick Nurse is a good coach for what Toronto is. And I agree with Rudy. I never thought I would agree with Rudy Tomjanovich on this. But you don't underestimate the heart of a champion. And it's something about winning a championship that makes you different than everybody else around you. Because you play differently. You move differently when you got a whole ass team. Now, of course, the Cavs might be the only freaking team on earth that won a championship and thought that we need to do some things to get better.
It get break. It dismantled the whole thing. But that was Kyrie's fault.
That wasn't Kyrie. That was LeBron's fault.
Man, it was a combination of the two. Like Kyrie is not blameless and all of that. But that's a whole nother.
Nope. We'll get into that. We're gonna get into that some other day because you already know. I'm Kyrie sensitive. You can't.
But I know you are.
But I also know some things on the behind the scenes stuff. So
But you see how how he's acting now too.
Kyrie understands that he was probably hypersensitive and leaving. However, I also understand him wanting to leave because it's the same thing like when people say to me, oh, the biggest play in that whole game 7 was the block. No, it wasn't.
No, it wasn't.
Block,
It was a 3-point shot. Anybody that says the block is ridiculous.
Yeah, the block was, listen, first of all, and I always say the same thing. I never said that wasn't the best block. Listen, they tried to say that this block that happened the other day with on Tatum with Bam Adebayo, that it was the best block ever.
No, it's one of.
Best block ever?
It's one. No, the best block ever. It's one of. The best block ever that I've seen was a LeBron block, as far as the importance and the timing.
In a game 7, when there's a championship trophy on the line. Now, if we had lost, it still would rank up there. If let's say Kyrie didn't hit that shot and we ended up losing, that block would still rank up there, but it wouldn't have the same. And this is why I say that shot is way more important than that block, because you still got to score. Like the block only
exactly. I agree with you.
But him hitting that shot makes that block even greater because now we got a trophy. We have a trophy because I hit this shot. And because you made that block. Like, that's the thing I keep trying to tell people. People always think I'm saying it out of LeBron hate. I'm not. I just feel like the shot is the shot. Just like the block is the block. But they go together. It's like 1 to 12 powers activate type thing.
Right. Exactly.
We got here because if Iguodala had made that layup, we down 2. Now you got the Oracle going berserk. And now we're under certain levels of pressure that we might not be kind of insurmountable type of things. So we needed that block. That block had to happen. LeBron did it. Sometimes LeBron can do superhuman shit. I've seen him do it in person. I've seen him do it on TV. I've seen him do it in Cleveland, Miami, and in LA. This dude just does superhuman type of things. But we don't have no championship without that damn jump shot. And we gotta act like people are like, oh, I hate Kyrie. Who cares? I'm not the biggest LeBron fan.
No, I don't. Yeah, but I don't hate Kyrie at all. I just think he was complicit in the team breaking up.
He wasn't complicit. He wasn't as complicit as LeBron. Because Kyrie was cool. But when he heard the chirpings, he's like, oh, word? All right, bet. And I understand that only because I'm that way. Like, word, I did this, and you gonna do that? Yeah, I'm out, man.
Listen, I get it. I think it just could have been. I think everything could have been handled a little bit differently. That's just my opinion.
But tell me why it wasn't handled differently, though. What you want me to tell you?
You could. Well, one thing too. Dan Gilbert is sensitive too.
Dan Gilbert's awful as an owner. Let's just say that.
Like it because my thing was okay when Kyrie demanded to get traded. I'd have been like, look, you on a contract for 2 years. You ain't going nowhere.
He would be the maddest dude in Cleveland if me and you owned the Cavs because he would have stayed there for 2 years. I'm not trading you.
Or if I was going to trade you, or if I was going to trade you, I wasn't going to trade you for a crippled guard. You know, I would have got the best deal possible.
I'm not trading you in the first year period. Because it's only good because Kyrie said he was going to sit out. Okay, who sits out 2 years?
Nobody.
So go ahead and sit out. Well, you know what? You're right. Go ahead and get your surgery. We'll see you next year. And that's me. Like, I wouldn't have let him go away. And you would have had to show up. And knowing that he was going to be here would have made LeBron potentially the favorite in the East again. But even if LeBron leaves, we have a Kyrie. That doesn't mean that we're going to win, but we can set up a team around you. The thing that everybody else kind of forgets, because I see these memes that say, Kawhi left Toronto, but Toronto was still, they were still a championship type of team. So-and-so left here, and these, Mike left Chicago, and Chicago made it to the Eastern Conference semifinals. Listen. Oh, and then LeBron leaves Cleveland and they're a lottery team. Here's why that's a sham. Dan Gilbert bowed to everything LeBron wanted.
Right.
Pat Riley didn't. Pat Riley told LeBron squarely, more than once, by the way, we're not giving your people no jobs. And when we set this team up for us, not for you.
Exactly.
Because remember, he wanted to get Spoelstra fired. LeBron did.
Mm-hmm.
LeBron wanted to
Right.
fire Spoelstra after his ass didn't show up against Dallas. He got outplayed by J.J. Barea, and he wanted to fire Spoelstra.
Man, that fool got outplayed by Barea and what's the guard's name?
Who? The Jet? The Jet?
Yeah, the Jet. Yeah.
Jason
Terry.
Yeah. So he wanted to fire Spoelstra after that, and he stormed into Riley's office, and Pat Riley told him, "Man, don't storm into my office no more, bro. Don't do that. That's not how we do business here." But he was used to doing shit where he was running shit out there. Out here, should I say.
Right.
And I still feel, even though his wife wanted to come back home, his wife wanted to come back. And all of my resources say it was more Savannah than LeBron coming back to Cleveland.
I can believe that.
I also understand that LeBron had and people don't want to believe this about me or believe what I know about LeBron because they just think I don't like LeBron. LeBron is very narcissistic, and he wants certain things to look a certain kind of way. So he's all about,
he wants everybody to like him.
Yeah, listen, and it's all about how I look, what I want, and I'll play it out this way. And then if I win, I look like the hero. And he did.
Right, he came back to Cleveland.
Listen,
He put his cape on, came back, and got us a champion.
There you go.
And a complete story.
And to him, what better freaking story is there? There really ain't one. You can't come up with a better story. There's only one story better than that story. And I know you know what it is. There's only one story better than LeBron coming back, winning the championship with the Cavs. And that's just the Browns winning the Super Bowl.
Oh, yeah. Right, yeah, definitely.
And I've always said this, and people keep calling me a hater because I said, if the Browns win an AFC championship, it trumps the Cavs world championship.
Yeah, anybody that's born and raised here has any type of common sense knows that. Like, for real. Like, it's a sleeping giant. Like, I noticed, like, this season, because there's no expectations, people ain't put up their Browns gear. People ain't walking around with their stuff on. So they kind of like, okay, we back to the same old Browns, especially after all the hype we had last year.
Right.
But if the Browns, let's say we jump out to go 5-1, 6 and something like that.
Oh, it's gonna change everything.
Man. It's gonna change everything. Like people don't, but like these youngins don't understand that. People that haven't lived to see the Browns be good and see the Browns and see how the city is energized. They have no idea.
You and me, and this is one of the reasons why when I thought about us having or me having a podcast, I said, there's only one dude I want to do a podcast with. I could do it by myself. I could. But there's no way I could do a podcast without you. I just couldn't. Because 30-something years ago, our mamas sent both of us outside of our houses to go play. Listen, it was about 13 degrees outside.
Right. Snow everywhere.
It was
Right.
it was freezing cold. It was 1986. So I was like 12. Sean was 12. But our moms sent us outside, not together. Our moms in our individual houses. My mother told me, "You're not sitting in front of this TV crying all day," because I was crying real tears. I was actually crying tears, bro. So I'm in the house crying and mad. And my mother told me to get the hell out of her face. And she said, you better get the hell out of my face. You better go somewhere with this crybaby stuff. So I had to get out of the house. I had to leave. She told me to get out of the house. I leave the house. I'm setting this story up for y'all. And y'all might think this is some BS, but this was predestined. We were supposed to do this podcast because of this. I walk outside and I'm just like in my backyard, like throwing snowballs up against the garage for a minute. And then I just started walking. I started walking towards the main little driveway area where we lived at, because we lived in these townhomes in a suburb of Cleveland in Warrensville. And, shout out to Warrensville. I love Warrensville all day. I started walking towards the middle of that spot on Granada Boulevard, and I see somebody walking down the street. It's Sean Davis. It's Sean Davis walking down the street.
We were the only kids outside. It was just me,
and
you, Donnie, and Gerard. We were the only kids. Right. We were the only kids in the whole neighborhood outside in that weather because our mamas kicked us out the house.
I said
at the time. And then we sat there and created a whole scenario about how the Browns won and didn't lose that game against Denver. Just made up a whole nother scenario.
I couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe it. I said, man, what you doing outside, bro? And when this dude told me, my mama told me I need to get out the house. She told me I need to go outside and play because I ain't finna sit in front of this TV and cry. I was just like, what? First of all, you was crying too. And second, your mama told you the same shit.
Same thing. Exact same thing.
The exact.
Man, I was hurt. I remember that. I'll never forget that day. I was hurt. I was hurt.
And this is why I know for a fact, if the Browns even almost recreate any level, any facsimile of 1987, 88, and even possibly even that 89-90 season. Look, I'm like this the whole time.
Right.
I'm down. I'm ready for that. But
that's all I want. I just want to be competitive again, man. I want to be relevant in league, because really it's at the point now that they're stealing my joy of watching football. I love football. And they're stealing my joy. We've been back in the league for 21 years, and we've only had 2 winning seasons and 1 playoff appearance, man. That's crazy.
Listen, Sean. Now I've had season tickets on my own, and Sean has had his uncle's season tickets. His uncle was a reporter he used to work for ESPN, so he had season tickets. He's from Cleveland, and before I had my own season tickets, Sean used to be like, "Yo, got these tickets, bro. You want to go to the game?" Of course I do. We would go to the game. we would get to a certain part of the season where I'm like, I would call Sean like, yo, you going to the game? And he'd be like, no, I ain't going, but if you want these tickets, you can have them. Like, he just gave up. Like, I'm not about to do this, man. Like, I'm not about to do this, man.
Down there. No.
I ain't finna do this. And that was, like, I don't know another person, which is why, again, that we do this podcast. I don't know another person that's as passionate. I know a lot of people that love the Browns. I know a lot of people that claim they love the Browns. I know a lot of people that say they love the Browns. I don't know anybody who is as passionate and gets as frustrated and has as many issues with the Browns as one of my best friends. We've been friends since we was like 11 years old. I don't know anybody other than this guy on the other side of me, my co-host. And that's why we have to do this show. And when we first did the show, that's why I explained it that certain kind of way, is it's about the fire that we have. We have to.
Yeah, it's coming from the heart. Ain't no phoniness here. Ain't no exaggeration. It's coming straight from the heart. Like everything we say about our teams, you know, it's sincere. It comes to the Browns, Indians, Cavs, you know, Ohio State. Man, I was so maniacal back in the day. We had a soccer team called the Cleveland Forest.
Oh man,
I would sit there and listen to their games on the radio.
Yeah, but
that was the only winning team we had for a minute was the soccer team.
Yeah, they won the first quote unquote championship, and Cleveland was in our lifetime anyway was the Force. They won the MISL championship.
Yeah,
and we was all running around like, yeah, we won the championship, and then people like who liked other teams was like, yeah, but that shit don't count. Just kind of like rained on our parade, and then they made us feel even worse by saying only a Cleveland fan would think that trophy matters. I was like, wow, man. First of all, I hate you for even bringing it to my attention. I completely hate it. I forget who said that to me, but I was ready to fight. It made me mad, but here we are some 30-something years later, and we're, for the Browns anyway, we're still fighting because we've seen the Indians in 1, 2, at least 3 World Series. They probably should have been Series. They probably should have been in like 6.
Should have won 2 of them.
They should have won at least one. God dang. But we've seen the Indians in at least 3 World Series. We've seen the Cavs
in 5 finals
and like 3 to 4 championship series.
5?
No, it ain't been 5. It was 05, right?
We had the one against the Spurs. 07. We have 4 against Golden State when LeBron came back.
Did we have 4? I thought we had 3.
It was 4.
We had 1. No, it was 3. We had 1 that we lost that we should have won when Kyrie got hurt.
When Kyrie got hurt and Kevin Love.
And then we came back the next year and we won.
Yeah.
And then the year after that, that's 4.
It's 4. It was 4.
Yeah, I said, you said 5. I said, no, I don't think it was 5.
No. I said, so no, we've been to 5 finals total.
We didn't. When was the 5th?
No, LeBron. Hold on. When LeBron came back, LeBron was here 4 years when he came back, right?
Right. You know what? You're right.
And we went to the finals all.
You're right, bro. I blame it on the crown apple, maybe.
That's all right.
But
right. One of those finals was kind of forgettable though. The first finals when KD got there, we was like so kind of pissed off about that. I don't remember that finals at all because I was like, I knew we was going to get washed.
You know why?
I remember a little bit of it.
I remember it because KD shat on LeBron, dog.
He did.
That dude shat on LeBron. Like, whew.
They was unguardable at that point. It was like it's no reason
Because
even playing.
it was too much space. It was
It
too
was
much
too
space.
much. It was too much. And then now the last finals I remember, because we didn't have Kyrie, we had no business being in the finals because LeBron literally
Yeah, you had George Hill.
drugged that horrible
You
team.
had
Yeah,
George Hill and uh uh Eminem's Tristan Thompson. You had a number of other like
Jordan
very
Clarkson and
very unrememberable guys that ain't on the team anymore for the most part. Yeah, Jordan
J.R.
Clarkson.
Smith had that boneheaded play. We actually had
Because
game
we
one
could have
locked up.
because we could have got game one. We could have got game one.
Yep, could have had
I don't
game
know that we
one.
would have won the series, but we could have at least shifted a little bit of that pressure and momentum had we, won game one. And this apparently he had smoked too much prior to the game, and he thought, "Nigga, we winning." No, nigga, the game was tied.
Man, look, J.R. Smith still doing boneheaded shit. Like
Listen,
when in L.A., he shot the ball. He caught the ball out of bounds and shot a three, and then I mean, he's
listen,
just one of them dudes.
whole feet was out of. He's man ram all over again, dog. He's just one of those guys.
Yeah, he just one of those
Now
guys
he's
just
man ram
aloof.
without man ram talent. Like you'll put up with man ram,
Right.
because man ram he gonna hit 40 home runs. He gonna get you 126 RBIs, and this is pre-steroid. Like this is what he was doing when he was a rook.
In America, for those of you know, we're
Look,
talking about Manny Ramirez.
and he gonna hit 308.
Yeah.
Like damn. But
And on top of that, he gonna invite his baby mama and his girlfriend to the game at the same time.
Look,
It almost it's gonna riot in the state.
There go the problem right there. He's also going to go through the Green Monster doorway and go pee in the middle of an inning. By the way,
Right.
That's man ram. That's what he do. J.R. Smith, on the other hand, while he has talent, listen, he got more talent than I have because he's in the NBA, but he's not that guy. He's not a superstar. Manny was a superstar, so you let him go with that stuff. You can't. I couldn't even believe that LeBron would even want this dude on his team again. Like to me, I guarantee you this. This is another reason why there are such things as GOATs and not GOATs. Kobe and MJ would never have that nigga on another team of theirs ever. They'd be done with that dude. Like, nope, you can't play for me. You did this at a critical moment, I'm good. Nope, you can't play. You can't play. I'm not having you. And that's just what it was. LeBron's like, oh man, I'm just taking any opportunity I can to get another championship. I'm not mad at that either, to be completely honest. I'm not. However, as a dude that came kind of from the old school, I don't view that the same way that I view Mike's championships. I don't view that the same way that I don't view that the same way that I view the championships that LeBron, the 3 he won in the past. Like this is just a complete and total. He better win this year. That's all I got to say. And not that
It's
I'm
setting
gonna
up for him.
but he better win.
It's setting up for him to do it because it looks like it's going to be.
Listen,
it's going to be LA and Miami.
The Lakers are playing completely and totally flawless right now. So I think they're going to win the next series, but I think Denver is going to give them every bit of the problem that we think they are. I got Denver winning at least 2 games.
Okay.
Because Jamal Murray, like their team is long, they're athletic, they're fast. I know LeBron and them are that way too, but I think Jokic is a different kind of monster for AD.
Yeah,
AD
I'm going Lakers in 5.
You said
I
5?
think the Lakers have more bet. Yeah, I think that they got more veteran leadership. That Rondo
And
coming
that could
back
be
is
yeah.
huge.
Listen, and I'll tell you what, bro, that right there, what you just said, fucking Rondo, that dude looked incredible. Them games that
Yeah,
he played in this last series. And I
yeah.
tried to say that to somebody, and they called me a hater. They was like, "Oh, LeBron looks
Wow.
like yeah. LeBron looks like the chase down LeBron from." This is what I said. LeBron looks like the chase down LeBron from when he was with the Cavs. However, let's not forget what Rondo and them did. Like, man, you just can't give this man no credit. What? I'm giving the dude credit. I gave
Exactly.
him the credit. What I said is he looked like the dude from the Cavs that chased, the greatest block ever. Because he did that
Right.
in the last series, like twice. So
Yeah, like, but I think in order for Denver to win that series, one, Jamal Murray has to play out his mind, and they need a third scorer.
that's what I was
Somebody
going to say.
like Paul Millsap could be big. I know because he's older, he's not getting as many minutes, but he kind of saved them against the Clippers. That one game when they were down 20-something,
Yeah, he had
and
some
Paul
shots. He had
Millsap
some
went
big shots.
crazy like in the
He
third
had some big
quarter
shots.
and kept them in the game. They're going to
He
need
got some big shots.
somebody else to be a consistent scorer because the Lakers, all they're going to do is key on Jamal Murray and try to deny him the ball.
Well, who's going to guard him? I'm going to tell you what. The way that dude playing right now, who's going to guard him? And I can't say, I will not sit here and tell you or anybody who's listening to this show that I thought Jamal Murray was going to be the problem that he is right now, offensively.
Yeah.
Listen, people was
I mean, you can put LeBron on Jamal Murray.
Listen, man, people was clowning Kawhi. But I'm like, this dude had a hand in his face.
Yeah.
He was in front of him, and this dude was just literally like, oh, the shot clock's running out, and just throw some junk up and hit it. What you supposed to do?
It's gonna be interesting. It's gonna be an interesting series. But I think it's going to end up being LA and Miami. Miami's up 2-0 on Boston.
I called that one. I said Miami's going to win this. On paper, if you look at the paper, it looks like Boston will win. In reality, I was like, man, I think that Miami's gonna win that, and you're not gonna just.
Yeah, Miami has played a lot of heart.
Yeah.
And Jimmy Butler has an effect on the game without scoring. He just has those guys playing with confidence. Like Jimmy Butler ain't got to score 35 for them to win. He can score 14.
But guess what?
And he got the rest of those guys playing with so much confidence.
Yeah.
You know.
And you got other guys doing big things like that young kid, Hero. Like, first of all, your name is Hero, dog. Your last name is Hero. And he's knocking down every jump shot possible. He's just knocking down.
Yeah. Him and Dragic just playing well.
You also got Iguodala playing.
They're just solid.
So
yeah, it's a solid squad.
Now we're gonna wait. I'm not gonna jump the gun. I'm not gonna get too far ahead of myself. And I did that the other day. I said, no, I'm gonna pull back. I'm gonna wait to call the Western Conference Final, blah, 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 blah. So I'm gonna wait. Because today was mostly about the Browns. And I know this is what we do, folks. We get off on tangents. But that's one of the great things about the podcast. Right. We can do whatever we want. We can talk about whatever we want. And it comes organically, and we always have content. But when we have our next show, we'll have to talk about the ECF, the WCF, and then discuss the Browns moving forward. What else you want to talk about, bro? Because we can talk about
that's probably it. We're going to have the baseball playoffs coming up soon.
coming up. So
We didn't talk about the Indians. The Indians have been on a horrific losing streak.
but they won tonight.
They lost 8 in a row. They won tonight.
Yeah.
That's because we played Detroit. Detroit is a team you can get healthy off of. I mean, it was perfect timing. Like, thank you, Detroit Tigers. When I saw we had Detroit on the schedule, I'm like, thank God we can finally turn this thing around a little bit. Because the Indians right now they're in the last playoff spot. You know, they expanded the playoffs.
Barely.
You know, we're in the last. We're barely in the playoffs.
So, and I told you,
but like I said, I told you early in the season that we can't hit, and that was my main issue with them. I was worried about.
I said, don't worry about it. I did. However, I thought that we have enough to get us into the playoffs. Your guys, you specifically, I can't say your guys. I was hearing that from everybody. Your issue was different than everybody else's issue. And I see your issue now. Because your issue back then wasn't about where we were at that moment. Your issue was about the playoffs.
Right.
When the pressure comes. But you know, my resolution has always been the same for a long time. One of the Indians' regular issues, no matter who our general manager was, no matter what players we had on the team, superstar-wise or not, we've never just gone out and got a professional stick. Like,
exactly.
That guy. Just that guy. Now, I don't know who that guy is in today's baseball. But I remember back in the day when we used to go out and just go get Dave Winfield. And we're just going to go get Eddie Murray. Oh, we're just going to go get Travis Fryman. The guy
Dave Justice.
We just going to go get Dave Justice. The guy who just has a stick. He may hit 270 all year. But when the playoffs start, this dude is a machine. Dave Justice was a machine. Eddie Murray is like, to me, Eddie Murray and Dave Winfield are kind of like Tony Gwynn. They're guys that just, even if they just throw their bat out at some shit, they just gonna make contact and they gonna get on first base. That's what you need. You need a professional hitter, a guy who just hits. I'm here for average. I ain't here for the fences. I ain't here for I'm here to put pressure on this damn pitcher. I'm going to have a 10 to 12 pitch at bat. I'm going to wear this dude out every time I get up here.
Exactly.
We don't have, and I don't know that guy exists in baseball anymore. Baseball is like basketball anymore.
It's different. It's right.
You don't have that anymore. And so it's hard to find those guys that you knew could do that. So you got to find a guy that you just know can do that. Like, you're very patient. You just waiting. You just sitting, and you just looking at your pitch, and you're like, nope, that ain't me. Oh, wait, what's the count? Oh, it's 2-2. I need to start fouling shit off. And you just taking little dumbass slaps, and you just fouling everything off, and it's just wearing this dude out. We don't have. That's a professional hitter, and there isn't anybody on the squad that's like that. And baseball isn't like that anymore either. So it's hard to figure out.
It's a different game. Different game, but
where it all goes from there.
Right, but it's something that we'll definitely discuss in the upcoming podcast. So we'll have the, baseball playoffs coming up. We'll have the NBA playoffs we got going on now, and we got a full-blown NFL season. And they announced that the Big Ten is back.
And thank God the NFL is back, and thank God that the Big Ten is back.
Yes, because the college football schedule right now is awful.
Because they're only playing within, they're all playing in conference right now.
Right.
So
yeah, it's like it hasn't been like one marquee matchup yet. So
like the other day I was watching, like I said, oh, it's a football game on. And I turned the TV on, and I have a Fire Stick. So I saw it, and it just said sports, and it said college football, and I didn't look at who it was. I just clicked, and I clicked on it, It was like Middle Tennessee State versus like South Dakota State or some shit like that.
Right.
And I was like, yeah, this is the worst goddamn football game I've ever seen in my life. And I've watched a lot of Browns games. That was the worst football game I've ever seen in my life. But it was on
Yeah.
and it was full blown. But you know, we'll get into a bunch of stuff. I appreciate you. Listen, man, y'all guys don't know how great it is to have, you know, Sean, my man, Big Sean, in the spot with me. We go off on tangents. We have a great time. But this is my guy, and it's nothing better for me to be able to vent or to be able to be excited because nobody gets me like this dude when it comes to sports,
Right.
man. So
Same here. Same
we're
here, my
excited,
brother.
man. We just trying to give you guys that same energy that we have, especially for the Browns fans. If you root for other teams, we understand that shit, but we really don't give a shit what y'all think. Uh,
Exactly. But
we,
hopefully in the
but
future, we may have a platform where you guys can interact with us. That's
we
kind of
yeah
like our goal. We can have some.
as we continue to move forward, absolutely, we want to do something where we don't we're not against other fans. We just don't like y'all. So we
Yeah.
do want to have y'all in and maybe be able to take calls or maybe be able to at least have your guys' input, especially once. So say like this week we're playing the Washington football team. It would be dope if we could bring in people that are from DC and just
Right.
get some phone calls from those guys and just talk to those guys.
Right. And
You
one
know,
thing I want to point out, part of the reason why we don't like some of y'all fans, because some of you guys have gotten championships that don't deserve it over us. And that's not like a whole lot of hate, and it is. Like 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 like
and
like if
here
you're
we
a
go.
Tampa Bay Lightning fan, you know, y'all had no reason getting a doggone championship before we did. Didn't deserve it. Florida Marlins, y'all didn't
Listen,
deserve any of that.
and here we
I'm
go.
sorry,
Listen to me.
but
If you want to talk, we gonna listen, and we're gonna get into this, and y'all gonna hear this more and more and more. There's no more of a bitter individual when it comes to sports than my homie. This dude is the most bitter dude I've ever seen. Now I may be I'm probably the most off the cuff guy. I'm the off the cuff guy. I'll do some crazy shit out of nowhere, and he just be standing there like, oh my gosh, we're gonna have to fight everybody here because he said this or did this. But this guy, he's like the grumpy old. He's a 67. He's been 67 years old since we were 12.
yeah,
He's been that guy since we were 12. But we've listen. I tell you what, I can't wait till this COVID stuff is over and we can start doing like traveling shows and doing our show remotely from there because we
right.
travel. Me and this dude travel. We've been to Cincinnati. I think our pictures are still up in Cincinnati. We can't go there anymore ever.
Yeah, we had
They,
the
they
damn
hate us.
fool in Cincinnati.
They hate us there. Also, we just last year were in Baltimore when we beat the shit out of Baltimore. However, I think my picture is in Baltimore and they hate me. That's what I think. Because Sean was cool. I was being a goddamn asshole. But
And my homeboy too. My homeboy must have
oh, he
started
was
almost
being a
started the
bigger.
fight.
He was way bigger than me. That dude took off. He
He
took
was
off. That
throwing
dude
drinks
took
at
off.
people.
That dude took off, bro. I was just being regular, and I was only being regular for a minute because I had a moment where nobody saw me really shit on this dude. Y'all didn't even see that. I shit on this dude, man, because he wanted ketchup. He was like, "Hey, can I borrow you guys ketchup?" I was like, "Yeah." I had just got a little slider. You know, the waitress brought my slider. I said, "Yeah, man, you use my ketchup after this." And I just turned the shit upside down and just held my burger like this. I was like, because he had on a Raiders jersey. I was like the whole time,
We
like
had a Raiders jersey on.
a Ravens.
Oh,
Yeah,
Ravens. Oh, okay.
he had on a Ravens jersey. He was like, "Hey, can I use you guys' uh uh can I borrow you guys ketchup?" I'm like, "Yeah, you can borrow. Hold on one second. Let me just put some on my burger." And he was like, "Oh, okay, cool." I was like, and I was just staring at him the whole time, like, and he was like, uh, he's like, "Nothing's coming out of there. You might need to squeeze it." I was like, "Hold on, bro. Your
Just
boy,
being a jerk
your boy
for
picked
no
up on it.
reason.
Your boy was like, man, if you don't squeeze that damn ketchup."
Right.
But dude,
But look,
but
man,
dude, that's how I am. I'm an asshole. But Sean is the grumpy old man of this. But we're like good cop, bad cop when it comes to certain things. It's times when I go berserk and Sean be the guy that calms me down. And it's times when Sean goes berserk and I try to rein him back too. But it's a great
that's right.
chemistry for us. It's awesome that you guys, even care that we're doing this. And we hope to get a bigger fan base as we continue to do this. And we're just going to keep on stretching out. We're going to keep on giving y'all better content and bigger content. It's not going to just be all Browns all the time. However, if it is all Browns all the time, y'all just going to have to deal with us talking about the Browns.
Yeah, exactly.
That's how it
You
works.
know,
It's our show. Look, it's our show. This ain't
it's our
ESPN.
show.
It ain't ESPN. This is us. We just went
Exactly.
on for about an hour for no fucking reason. And guess who? Guess who cares? Not me.
Exactly. But
I don't
I
care.
do have to I do have to get up early in the morning and go to my 9 to 5. So I guess we're gonna go ahead and wrap up this edition of Two Guys and a Mic. It's been a pleasure as always, Ron. And we'll see you guys next time.
Hey, listen, I love y'all guys. I hope we get more of you folks to listen. Love you, Sean. Peace. Man, have a good day tomorrow at
Same
work.
here, bro.
I'm going to sleep in. Peace.
All right, man. You have a good night, brother.
That nigga 56. That nigga look like he's 77.